Hi, welcome back to another episode of the NAmen Podcast. I'll be hosting today. I'm Delfino, and I'll allow my companions to introduce themselves. I go first.
Hi everyone, I'm Maya. You probably know me on Twitter as the one person that is always flaming Europe. And yeah, that's me. I'm a Cloud9 fan. Favorite players are Licorice and Copy, who I hope to see in the LCS this year.
I'm Elaine, the resident JoJo Pionin inspired fan. EG fan, I guess. Yeah.
I'm Numiii, I'm your resident LCS superfan, and I'm pretty enthusiastic about our NA teams. So yeah.
My name is Andrea. My only claim to fame, unfortunately, is being a Discord moderator and an evil genius's shill.
All right. With introductions out of the way, it's time to start talking about this lovely week. We actually skipped an episode last week because it was very doomer. It was very sad. We were
Very depressed.
very depressed after the
Week 1 of group stage.
Yeah,
sad.
Do not talk about what happened.
We won't.
But regardless of that, we wanted to come back after group stage, a little bit of life shown in week 2 to talk about group stage, quarterfinals, semifinals. We have some people going to semis, me. And we also want to talk about potential roster moves and lots of news that has broken this week, which is kind of early to start off season for NA, but very exciting stuff. So, to start, let's talk about how everyone's week's been going. It's been quite a week, literally the quite a week Captain It's Wednesday meme, except it's Thursday. And I just want to catch up with you guys, see how you guys have been doing for the past 2 weeks since we recorded our last episode.
I think it's been fun. This is my first Worlds watching that I remember. I watched finals last year, so this is my first time watching from play-ins to groups. And honestly, it's been a lot of fun. It's exciting to have Worlds be at a normal American time, like North American time, but I've been really happy with the games and watching everyone be scrappy, and it's been a really fun time. I'm actually really enjoying my first Worlds, despite NA doomerism, or however we want to phrase that.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like I like to flame North America a lot when we are in the middle of game and they're playing like shit because that is what we'd always do to football teams and baseball teams and so on and so forth. But after that, I feel like, at least for me, I think there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic about the future of the LCS. And yeah, I feel like it's pretty easy to shut down the doomerism, at least for now, because of the directions that the LCS is going in. But I feel like that is also just me.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't I guess I haven't had too much time and space to even process what even happened on the weekend because I was at Worlds on the weekend, and then I flew back on Monday morning, and then I went straight to class for 3 hours with the headache.
So you fully haven't had time to sit down and just process your weekend at Worlds, huh?
Not really. I was just processing it right now before we started recording because I was like, dang, I gotta talk about this. But
So we
thinking about it now, I'm yeah, it didn't really go great. 315 record, but I'm still going to watch LCS, and I miss LCS, and I'm excited for LCS to come back next year. And I've never cared that much about international results in not in the same way maybe. I care more about the actual players, and the fact that the players feel sad when they lose is what's sad more than the actual losses, if that makes sense. But I still think at least my favorite team, right? EG can still be proud of their year, and even Inspired said on Instagram that he's happy with how his first year in NA went, so I felt that's good. Yeah.
And you know what I'll say? For the second year in a row, we kicked a European team out of Worlds, and we finished with a better record than them this year. So that's
3-0, baby.
Classic.
3-0.
that's all there is about that.
That's all that's needed from NA. I
Yep.
actually feel very similar to Elaine about everything. And just like all the news about how LCS is dead and all that, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna watch LCS and enjoy LCS. Also, I miss CLG. Just need to say that. That's all. That's all I have to say.
Valid.
Very
Valid.
valid. Now, I have been, unfortunately, I missed literally all of the group stays. Almost all of them except for 100 Thieves, which was happy and sad at the same time. But I went back and watched a lot of the VODs, and I think the doomerism, because I went on Reddit, or I kind of went on Reddit and Twitter before I watched the VODs.
Going on
And
Reddit, lol.
yeah,
Going on Reddit, lol.
I really genuinely thought like NA had picked like had picked like Heimerdinger singed bot lane against like Genji and just sprinted it all the way to the next. But like it was fine. I really hate that people were so doomer about it because it was fine. We did well and we
Fun.
did like
It's
we
fun.
did.
Are you allergic to fun?
No, bro, they only
Science.
looked at the results.
I know.
Not
It
the
was very
games.
frustrating because like you could tell which people only look at the results. But regardless of that, my week is going fine, I guess. Guys, we need to counteract the doomerism that I was talking about. Like, please,
I'm
just
trying,
focus on
bro.
Idol, please.
I'm going to be very positive, and like I was in last episode, and I will say this episode as well. It's the first we've had NA in Worlds since 2016. Like, let's have some fun here, y'all. Like, it's not hard.
I agree.
I also think that's why it stings more. Like, this is the first Worlds we had on home soil in forever. And that is like to have our worst performance when it's at home is kind of sad, you know? Like any other year, I would be like, oh, well, it is what it is. You know, we had to suck every once in a while. You know, this is just that year. But the fact that it unfolded right in front of us was kind of sucky.
Yeah, I could agree with that. It's like valid to feel sad about everything.
I think Mark said it in Blame Game the best. Like, it's very valid to feel sad and upset and disappointed about the underperformance from NA, but it's definitely not okay to take it out on players and like people. Like,
Oh, for
these
sure.
people. Like,
Oh, for sure, agreed.
I
I
didn't
was
I didn't watch
under
that, but I agree.
I was under like Closer's tweet and I was like, "Oh yeah, you like I replied and I was like, "Oh, you guys did great. Like we still 100% support you and love you guys."
Wasn't someone like
Um
100T has fans? And then
yeah, no,
and then I ratioed them and they blocked me.
yeah, they blocked all of us. Everyone who liked the freaking ratio, they blocked. And like it's just constant. The harassment under like 100 Thieves tweets, players tweets, EG tweets, EG players tweets, Cloud9, FUD, like
I've
you
seen
like
all of it too. Yeah.
it's just unreasonable.
It's
And
really
like
sad. Yeah, I tried to like leave comments. I'm like, "Oh, I love you. Insert player name."
also, like, if you're one of the people who are like harassing players over like any performance, please don't do that.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
very
I even see like sometimes I see like my followers doing that. So I just want to tell y'all if you're listening to this, please like, it's okay to feel the
don't do
negative
that.
feelings, but please don't be like, wow, take all of these people's jobs away. They all terrible or whatever. Like, and don't put it in a place where they can see it.
I
Yeah.
think Chronicler said it best, just referring to what Delphi was saying with like Mark Z saying to be positive. Chronicler made a tweet saying, reminder that if you DM players after losses and you're not a shining beacon of positivity, you're just not a good person. No one cares about the competitors themselves who literally dedicate their lives trying to win. And I personally agree with that as well. If you're not trying to be positive, or at least keep your negative opinion to yourself, just honestly, just keep it to yourself. We're not there. We're not players. Keep it to yourself. Don't put it on the timeline. I don't want to see it
Oh
on
my
my
god,
timeline.
DMs must be just another level because we can't even see what kind of DMs they must be getting. So that's sad.
But there's your everyone's anti-doomerism. Just be positive, right? And yes, NA is eliminated from Worlds, but I'm still having a great time watching. It was
Yeah.
fun watching like Heimerdinger support. Like, come on.
And
And if you
and also
go into like oh sorry.
oh
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say none of that erases the entire rest of the LCS year that we all watched, which was really fun to go through. Just
No.
local LCS, yeah. It was
And also
a
like
blast.
reminder like even if you got tickets for like quarters or semis or finals, like I like I want you to go there and enjoy it. Don't be like, oh, I can't go anymore because like all these Dogwater NA teams like lost in groups. Go. It's a
Dogwater.
fun experience. You get to see
Mm-hmm.
good
Go show
gameplay and meet people.
Go show Riot that League of Legends is still something to be invested
care
in.
about.
If you are a fan, I don't care where you got your ticket or how you got your ticket, show up to the games and show Riot that this product is worth investing in.
Exactly, and especially if you're going to finals, like you get to see Lil Nas X live, and I didn't. Okay, you're not giving up that chance. You are not giving up that chance. Anyway, we do have 2 people on this episode that did, in fact, go to Worlds, to
Oh
group
my
stage
God.
specifically. You guys want to tell us about that and meeting some very cool people?
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
So I went on week 1. I went on Saturday, and then week 2 I went on Friday and then Sunday. I briefly met Elaine, but we didn't really hang out together. Unfortunately, maybe we should do that next time. But yeah, so the 8 was pretty sad because we went there. EG got steamrolled by G2. That was honestly the most painful part of Worlds. And then Cloud9, they did what they could, but EDG just had their number. But I think what was really cool is that there was like fans try to keep it alive the whole time. I didn't expect this, but there were these two guys that showed up. They were completely shirtless and they had like face paint with the American flag and wearing um swimming costumes with stars and stripes on them.
Did you say swimming
And that
costumes?
was they were wearing swim trunks
Swim
with
shorts, yeah.
stars and
We love
stripes.
that. We love
I think I
that.
saw that on Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, and they were like jumping around the arena trying to get everyone to yell USA. So I'm
Oh,
like, you
that's
know what?
fun.
Our fans are nice people. And then the 14th was a lot more fun. We got to see EG win. They had decent games versus the Eastern teams, which is honestly a lot. That that the fact that they were competitive was pretty good for me. And yeah, that was about it. MSG was nice, although I live in the area, so I'm a little bit sort of I took it for granted a little bit, I guess. Food was very expensive. The concessions were not well priced, but that is not league related. That is Hulu Theater related, and so I will refrain from complaining about it.
Elaine,
Yeah,
let us know
okay.
about it.
Maybe I'll just like go in order of it. I met a lot of cool people. I went on second week on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So the first day was Group B. So it was like EG's day, but I mean sadly I didn't get to actually meet like EG themselves, but um, it was still fun to watch them like beat G2. They got a win, and so like the first thing that happened was when I got there. Like long story short, I like made like cards for the players, and I put like the stickers that I made inside them. So I gave all of them all the EG stickers. And then for JoJo and Inspired, since they're my faves, I printed out like really small art prints for them. And
that's cute.
yeah, and then it's all like on Twitter or like on my. I also like wrote a blog on fluffjwi.com, fluffjwi.com, but like it was like I didn't know if I was gonna be able to get the cards to them, but then like I put it on Twitter and like surprisingly like Jackie Felling, LCS commissioner, who also follows me, was like she like tagged her coworker and got him to like come to my seat basically and like take the stuff and give it to EG. And at the same time, apparently like EG like also had a gift for me, and so like that guy like gave me the gift from EG, which was a signed Worlds jersey, a JoJo Pyun jersey, and it was signed by all 5 players. So I was like really pleasantly surprised, and like I was really touched So I put on my turtle jersey, turtle power.
Not the turtle years, you know.
Yeah, so then later, when I went out to like get food, I saw EG CEO Nicole like
Oh.
just like standing out there, so I had to like go approach her, and she was like really nice and friendly, and when I showed my like sign, because I made like a JoJo Pyun inspired sign, and she was like, "Oh, are you Elaine?" And I was like, "Wait, yeah."
Oh.
Then I gave her all the stickers too, and we took a picture. Yeah, she was like really nice. So yeah, she also signed my sign, so that was cool. Um, so that was the first day, and the second day was like a lot more chill because there were no NA teams. But I am a pretty big Deft fan, so I was cheering for DRX, and like outside the venue there was this girl handing out like some free goodies, like they made like a Deft banner and some cards. So I got some free Deft stuff. Nice.
Love that.
Yeah,
love
LCK and
that.
LPL fans are a bit goated sometimes because like I also saw LPL fans giving out free like flags of,
Really?
I think it was, yeah, I
Wow.
think it was wait, what, I don't even remember which LPL team played that
It
day.
was
I'm sorry.
Top Esports,
It was, huh?
Top Esports that day.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, there was people
Let's not
handing
talk
out
about it.
test flags. I'm sorry, Delphi. There's people
Don't
handing
say
out
a
test flags. Yeah, yeah. That day, like it was like DRX and Rogue that got out, right? Unfortunate. Okay, unfortunate for Delphi. But yeah, I was really happy because DRX went like 3-1 that day, so I was just chilling. And on the tiebreaker, there was like a Rogue DRX tiebreaker. By the time that happened, like it was really empty. A lot of people left. But I stayed the extra hour, and I like went really far up because there was a lot of empty seats, and I could like see DRX players from from my seat in the front. So that was really cool. I could like see their faces, and the screen was huge.
Oh.
And and DRX won that game. And I'm pretty sure I was sitting next to a fan site because there was this girl with like this huge camera. Yeah. Anyways,
No, you're gonna be
Wait,
in the fan camera.
Can you explain
no,
what a
no,
fan
no.
site
But she
is?
was, I do
For
not
Can you
know.
explain? Can you
Wait.
explain what a fan site is for people
Oh,
that
oh,
may
for
not
people
know
who
the
don't know,
concept?
it's like those are like it's like a thing in K-pop usually where they're like people who take pictures, like fan pictures of the specific member usually. But apparently there's a lot of LCK fan sites as well. They're like
Yep,
just go
there's a
around
lot.
and take pictures of a specific player. Um, so it was probably Deft because Deft has a lot of fans. But anyways, um, they interviewed Deft after that game, and it was like even more empty during the interview. So I was like literally in like the second row, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so cool because like I'm a big Deft fan, so I was like fangirling. But yeah, go Deft, go DRX, and okay, last day, 100 Thieves Day, um, was like more chill. Wait, oh wait, I forgot. Oh yeah, I think on it was on DRX Day that I met Travis Gafford. Actually, I should probably
The
talk
one and
about
only Travis
the one and only
Gafford?
Travi Gaffy. I'm sorry for calling you that. Um, he told me that he was gonna keep listening to this podcast, so he might be listening
Oh
to
my.
this. Like, so if
Hello,
you're
Travis.
listening to this,
Shout out,
hello, and I'm sorry for
shout out Travis.
shout out, shout out. Thank you for
No,
sponsorship
no
from
one
last
but
episode
you.
and for supporting us. I really appreciate it. And he was like, he was really chill, and he was like, keep up the great content. So yeah, I really appreciated that. I gave him the stickers. I hope you, for all the players, I hope you liked it. Um, yeah. And then okay, so on the 100 Thieves Day on Sunday, I went to CLG's like pre-game event thing, where meetup thingy, um, and like so it was kind of crazy because I've never seen any pro players in real life before that, um, and this is my first esports event too, right? So like I walked in, and then like there was like I noticed that Dokla was standing like just feet away, and I was like, oh my god. And I was like internally freaking out. And then I noticed Palafox like a little farther back. And it was, but like they were both really nice too. When I was talking, like I didn't get to talk to Palafox that much, but when I was talking to Dokla, like he was like hard carrying the conversation because I was just like so starstruck and like forgetting how to speak words. But he would like ask questions like, "Oh, where are you from?" or um, like how long are you gonna be at Worlds, or have you been at Worlds the other days or whatever. So, um, yeah, shout out
So nice.
to the
Yeah,
CLG
sounds really
boys.
nice.
Yeah, I'm actually
Actually,
pretty
really
big.
cool that they. Yeah,
Mhm.
sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say that been a pretty big Dokla fan this year because of Champions Queue, because I was a Champions Queue addict all year long, and he streamed a lot of it. So, and his stream is really funny, so I was rooting for him. But so it was really
Shout out to
cool.
Dokla for streaming
Wait, Maya, what were you gonna say?
Champions RJS
I was
versus
gonna say
NA
it's
quarterfinals.
it's it's really cool that CLG did those activations because
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know, CLG is owned by the Madison Square Garden Company. That is also the enterprise that runs the NBA and NHL teams for New York, the Rangers and the Knicks. And to see them sort of tie in with the sporting culture in New York City was really cool for a fan like myself. So I'm like, I hope a lot more orgs do that, especially because I know they are partnered or owned either in part or wholly by basketball teams or something of that sort. And yeah, I was like, the tie-in that they managed to do there was really cool. So,
Yeah.
and the photo cards they gave out, they have the CLG players and Knicks themed uniforms, and that's just the coolest thing ever. That's like my worlds collide moment.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, they gave us like postcards of like the CLG photo shoot, the goated one with the basketball theme,
Mm-hmm.
and like Palafox and Dokla signed it, so that was cool. Um, yeah, and then I went I got to see 100 Thieves go 1-2, I guess. I mean, the first one was really nice again. Like it's kind of like EG Day. It was like we got the first win, yay, and then we lose. but but it happens, and like the one thing I wanted to like mention was that sometimes people would start like a USA chant, and then I would hear people around me being like, "Oh, but like 100 Thieves doesn't have any North American players," and like yeah, you can say that, but like I'm cringing at that because like some of these boys have been around for so long, and like Hui like has his green card. He's pretty much just been here forever. Like I don't know, and they're still representing NA. So like yeah, but anyways, the other cool thing that happened was so the context here is that Delphi, aka our resident Buzio stan.
Oh,
was
yeah.
Please.
yeah.
Yes.
Wait, do you want to explain that part?
Okay, basically, um, I'm a big Busio fan. I watch all of his streams and do the funny thing where I am tweet about him a lot and have a lot of pictures. Um, but I bought a birthday gift for him. It was a little plushie, and I shipped it to Elaine's house, and then Elaine brought it to Worlds, and then gave it to him because it's his birthday is actually the 22nd.
It's in 2
Um,
days.
2 days. And if you guys want to support our lovely 100 Thieves Academy support on his birthday, please tweet anything like a little message or like a favorite stream moment or a favorite picture, anything like that, using the hashtag Happy Busio Day. Elaine, continue about meeting him, please.
Okay. So it was one of those like cute reversible octopus plushie things if any of you have ever seen that. And like he I don't know, we're mutuals on Twitter for some reason. So I was like, "Oh, is it possible to meet you?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm at like the drinks area, which is like right outside the seats." so I went there and I like reacted to his message, but then he was like, "Oh, I already went back in, but I can like sprint. I can like sprint back out." So it was really nice of him to like come back out, even though he already went in. So I just like kind of stood to the side and waited for him, and then he came out of the doors and like noticed me because I said I had the EG green jersey on,
Turtle.
and then the turtle jersey, and yeah, and then he saw me and then came over. He was like, gave a fist bump and introduced himself as Alan because that's his first name, and yeah, it was just really nice. And I gave him the plushie, and he was like, "Oh, tell Delphi I said thank you." And yeah, it was really nice. We got a picture. Um, he was like talking about how the game that we just watched didn't go that well. It was the 100 versus RNG, I think.
Talking about Genji,
Oh.
I fear.
Huh?
He was talking about the Genji game.
No,
Yeah.
no, not. But that was the one that was going on at that time.
Yeah.
But the one that just finished was. Wasn't that wait, which one was the
RNG
the
one.
really close game where
It was the RNG one.
Yeah. So how
that
that
was
game was
RNG,
super
but-
close. Yeah, we talked about how that game was super close, but like they couldn't win in the end. It was really sad, but yeah, we were just like, well, there's always next year. So yeah, it was just really casual conversation, and yeah,
Okay.
it's like nice to meet you and stuff. So that was
Before
really
Elaine
cool.
goes on, it makes me even more freaking
I'm sorry.
jealous.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
Her
sorry. Hey, I just want to tell
Busio.
people that Stan Busio, join the Busio fan club. He's really nice. He's also very
He's
skilled
very
at League of
sweet.
Legends. And wish him a happy birthday
Um,
in 2 days. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. We're gonna do a little segment where we just kind of talk about the highlights, the positives of the performances of specific teams at Worlds. So I think Maya should do C9 first because they obviously were in Group A, so they went first. All right, go Maya, go. And you also saw them in person, which is super fun.
Okay, so the positives for C9 at Worlds is that they did not go 0-6. That's let's start there. But in all honesty, I think there's a lot of fair critique around the fact that C9 they did not stick to what made them successful in NA. They did not rely on a lot of the sort of flexibility that they were known for. I think a lot of people were expecting that they would try and come out with a bunch of these weird picks. And I think that the concerns about draft were a little overblown about Cloud9 because, they, their first draft versus Fnatic was completely predicated on them giga stomping Fnatic at 5 minutes, and that did not happen. And I'd like to say that they learned from that. And that sort of really segues into, I think, the positive is that they learned as the tournament went along. They got better. They were definitively better in week 2 than week 1. They were close against T1 and EDG, and either of those games could have been won if not for 1 or 2 moments. And Fnatic, of course, they beat. So yeah, if I had to give a positive take for C9, I think that they were getting better, and obviously this is a big moral victory. They ended up going 1-5. That is incredibly disappointing, but it wasn't all bad.
Okay. Elaine, Numiii, and Andrea talk about evil geniuses.
I'll go first because I think the other two individuals can talk more about EG than I can. But I was really happy with like EG's performance. I know they are our third seed, but I was really impressed with our bot lane. And honestly, just watching EG, in my opinion, I felt like they were the strongest of our seeds, despite being the third NA seed. I think they did quite well, and I'm really excited to see. I was excited to see their games. I was really happy seeing them play. But yeah, I'm just really happy with their performance for Worlds this year.
I feel a bit like on one hand I understand. Obviously not super disappointed because this was a really tough um, situation for you. Like the last few months for you have been so rough. It's like they had to go from an AD carry to another. They had to go through that series with versus TSM with all the poses. They had to go with the Danny thing, and then just having to do play-ins and having I gotta say I'm very happy that they beat G2. That's probably the best thing about everything. That
What is it?
they
1-7, baby.
yeah, we did it. Like that's probably, and that game was really fun to watch. I just watched it yesterday
Yes.
again, and I was just it was just so much fun. Like, and you can see that they were having fun. Like you will see them in game. Like they were really enjoying that one. They were really making it like they were really playing with their foot too.
Yeah,
And Jojo was doing all those
let me
things.
pretend that was the only game they played at Worlds. Let's go.
I mean, not they played some really good games. I think they
Yeah, the play-ins, yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I
in
was
groups
talking
they
to
had
you earlier, right? I was talking
Yeah.
to you earlier about it, Elaine, that it seemed like the games were decided by one bad play.
Yeah.
It was over, so
Yeah.
feels like they could have done so much better, but obviously I'm not disappointed.
Yeah, I agree. And then they also like played really well in play-ins, which maybe people forgot already, but we knocked out we 3-0'd EU, let's go. Yeah.
For 100 Thieves, I think they performed above expectations. I don't understand how
What?
a team going 1-5 can be above expectations, but somehow LCS Twitter and Reddit made the expectations so low, people legitimately went into this tournament expecting 100 Thieves to get perfect gamed 6 times in a row. Okay. And I'll say it, they should not have lost against Flying Oysters. That was probably one of the most frustrating games I've ever
Let's not
enjoyed.
talk about that. Oh my god, I
We
don't know what
don't talk about
happened. It was like kind of a stomp
That
too.
game didn't happen.
It wasn't even close. It was like,
rough.
was it like a draft gap? I don't even remember what happened.
I don't. I was at work.
It was
and
a draft gap. I don't want to go too deep into it, but the fact that they picked MF alongside, I want to say Leona into something, was it a Phalios? I don't remember. I just remember that there was an MF, and the MF was about as useful as a can of potatoes.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say a positive about Hanade's performance, which was, they really like came out the gate week 2. Because when a team is like, oh, we're gonna improve in week 2, you're kind of like, yeah, okay, like you have to say that. But like, it looks like they took genuine steps to improve, and it definitely showed. Absolutely stomping Flying Oysters, which should have happened week 1, and then taking RNG to like the very like limit. It was kind of crazy. Like, regardless of RNG being sick with COVID or whatever, they performed really well. They had that Senna Seraphine combo. It literally came down to one poor macro decision and one lost fight, and the gold was even the whole time. They were actually leading for a lot of the time. I think 100 Thieves definitely stepped up in week 2, and I was really happy to see that, because I think if we had like barely pulled out a win against Flying Oysters and then got stomped by RNG, I think week 2 would have felt a lot worse. But it doesn't leave a bitter taste in my mouth, even though we went 1-5. Okay. But now that we're done talking about groups and performances in groups, and the first matchup quarterfinals has actually gone through, which was a JDG 3-0 Rogue, which I'm so sorry to my EU friends. That's really rough. JDG is just absolute monster team. What quarterfinals match is the most interesting to y'all? Left we have T1 versus RNG, EDG versus DRX, and Genji versus Damwon, which is the first like inter-region match that we have.
I want to say that I'm most excited about the Sunday one, because I think it's probably the only one that could potentially be an upset. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys think different, but that's the one that feels like cool. Probably, depending on how EDG shows up. I really want to see what EDG shows up because they tend to like underperform at Worlds. It's the story that we know about them, so it's like I always get nervous about EDG and Worlds.
Oh, I have the same one, but it's because
No, it's of course, yeah.
because
The Def fan here.
because I'm the Deft fan. But yeah, it's also interesting to have Deft versus EDG matchup.
Oh, that's
and
right. It's Def versus Mako.
Mako.
Yes.
That's so cute.
Yeah. And I feel like DRX has been looking really good. Like they came in and they were like LCK fourth seed who like qualified like barely
Of their
qualified.
teams, by the way.
Huh?
They qualified by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah,
That's really
they.
cool.
I didn't even expect them to
watch.
qualify. Like I was barely watching LCK right, but I kept up with their series, and I was like, dang, they won 5 games. They like they put in their sub jungler. Like, bro,
It was a mess.
like how did they qualify? But then they looked amazing in play-ins, and now they're still looking good in groups. So, yeah, I think they could be really good potentially. So, go DRX.
I can't really decide because like y'all probably know this at this point if you follow me on Twitter, but like I watch LCK and LPL. Like I watched it almost every single match live, which was terrible for my sleep schedule. Don't do it. But um I paid a lot of attention. Like LPL I mostly slept through like the bottom teams, but I watched a lot of the bigger teams that I expected to make worlds. Rest in peace V5. But I think each matchup kind of has some like like some type of thing. Like obviously T1 versus RNG, salty run back from MSI finals. RNG has, in my opinion, looked weaker than T1. And I think T1 can take that. But then at the same time, DRX versus EDG is interesting because EDG has not looked as strong as they should, while DRX has looked way stronger than they should. And then Genji versus Damwon is interesting because though Genji won finals, I think Damwon is actually a better matchup for Genji, or for Damwon. I think they would have struggled more in the finals had they been against Damwon instead of T1. And also Damwon has looked pretty good in groups. So I can't even decide which one is my favorite because I'm a fan of literally every single one of these teams besides like RNG. And I just hope they're very good games that go to 5 games and make me really stressed because that's the best kind of series, you know?
That's true.
I kind of have to agree with Delphi. I'm kind of torn between the next upcoming matches, but I'll kind of put my little opinion. Like I'm kind of really excited for RNG versus T1. I would love to see like Faker in like semis or like finals, and I think like T1 like looked pretty dominant from their undefeated run in LCK. But I've enjoyed watching RNG perform. I do know they currently have COVID right now, so I hope the players do recover and feel a lot better. They looked really. I felt really bad for them watching their player cams, but I'm really excited about RNG versus T1. I think the game's gonna be really close. I really hope we have like a 3-2. And I like watching good games. So I'm just really excited about Saturday's matchup. Is that Saturday? Oh my gosh, it's tomorrow. I don't know what day it is. I'm sorry.
Tomorrow
It's
is Friday.
it's that meme. It's just like it's what we mentioned earlier. Like Captain, it's Wednesday. Like no, it's Thursday. Like I don't know what day we're on anymore. But I'm really excited for RNG versus T1. It is on Thursday, so oh my! I literally said,
What?
just let's move on with this segment. I don't know what day I'm on. Apparently, let's just move on.
And does
what
Maya
did you
have
say,
an
Vlad?
answer?
I personally do not care. I
Oh
will
my
be
God.
watching.
Okay, I knew
the
that you were
baseball
gonna say that.
playoffs.
That's a true LCS fan. World is over already, guys.
NA is
I
over.
understand
Who
that.
cares?
Yeah, I'm at the stage in my league fandom or at my world's experience where I watch, I refresh LEC Lulu's page more than I turn on vollesports.com.
Okay,
Oh.
well, that's
Oh
Maya.
my god.
Say if
That's
it
great.
isn't
That's a great
hashtag Genji
segue
fan.
into off season.
Real.
That's
Anyway,
true.
go Genji. Off season. It started really, really freaking early this year.
We already
There's a lot-
started.
Is it always this early? Cause I haven't watched for 2 years.
I swear that's after Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, the teams that are in the worlds usually do stuff, but not. I feel like it's so much, right?
Yeah, well, the world's
so
teams have
much.
started already, so
No, yeah, right away, the day after.
So
That's so
there's been a
wild.
lot of moves and rumors and stuff like that. So there's like 100 Thieves, EG, TSM, all this kind of stuff. And that's caused a lot of roster speculation. So like I can talk about 100 Thieves. The Papa Smithy being out allegations,
I'm
which
so
are not
sad.
allegations because they're
I'm
true.
so sad.
It's so depressing because Papa Smithy is someone I really, really like. If there's a person I could pick in this any of like the staff that I would want to be like, I'd want to have part of the team, like as a part of the team forever, I would pick Papa Smithy. Even though I really respect like Reaper and his ability to coach, like I don't care. Like Papa Smithy was definitely an integral part of 100 Thieves, and I think him being gone kind of hurts the team more than it helps. I just think their talent scouting will be worse, just like objectively worse. Papa Smithy was just so good at that, and he was so supportive of the team, and he was so like he watched all their games, and he did all of the Instagram stories where they would talk about their teams and their strategies and how they were planning to draft and play the game and stuff like that. And I think Papa Smithy was a very integral part of the team, and it really, really, really sucks to see him gone. But I really hope he finds success wherever he goes.
I'll go next. I will pick EG. And I'll pick Peter Dunn and Rigby. Now here's the thing with EG.
Peter Dunn.
That is an org that they have sort of prided themselves on, quote unquote, stacking the org with the smartest people possible. And Rigby and Peter Dunn definitely fit those criteria. But also at the same time, you've got to wonder if they are in some degree indispensable. And so to that degree, I think that there's going to be a lot of questions as to who they can find to have the same impact on sort of the developmental and scouting pipeline that Peter Dunn did. Who can have the same impact, that is. So very similar to Papa Smithy's, I think that if neither of those two find a home in the LCS, it would be a dark time. So I really hope that something turns out well for them.
I would like to say that I feel like I'm less worried about the Evil Geniuses than I will be about 100 Thieves. I mean, I feel like they have, I mean, like you said, they have a lot of talent stacked in their staff, and they still have the same people that started this project back in the day. So I do have a lot of trust in the way the Evil Geniuses project is built, and I feel like they will manage to, like, Peter is a guy that sets up structures, right, and all that. So I think they probably have a good idea of how to keep on going with what he started. So I don't really have, I mean, it's obviously sad, right? But I don't have much fear on them falling off as an organization, because I think they have a really good basis for what they are doing.
I'll go next. Honestly, my sentiments are basically the same as the other two individuals. I will miss Peter Dunn. This is my small shout out, but when I went on Hotline League for the first time and gave my take and said I was a huge EG fan, it was Peter that reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to meet a player. And honestly, like that was one of my favorite moments of LCS. That was my first time visiting a studio, and I got to meet EG Vulcan. So I will miss Peter, and I think if it wasn't for him reaching out to me after that Hotline League call, I don't think I would have fallen into this esports hole that I'm in now. So I'll kind of, that kind of like is prefacing my shout out, but I will miss Peter Dunn. I think he's done a lot of good things for this org, and I'm really excited to see what he does next in his future projects.
If I could talk about Team Liquid.
Yes, you can.
Oh my, yes, talk about it.
Yes.
While I'm not the biggest fan of the Team Liquid LCS team, I am a huge, massive. Anyway, I'm a big fan of the Team Liquid Academy team. Specifically Jan and Ayla, who I think have one of the best besties dynamics I've ever seen in my entire freaking life.
Bestie dynamic.
You have a bestie dynamic.
I mean, I've heard you talk about it
many times. Anyway, I was talking to my sister about this a couple days ago. If they don't get double promoted, I think I might actually I might stand apprentice outside of Team Liquid's new compound. I cannot handle it because I just think 2 years, by the way. They've been together for 2 full years, which is super, super rare for Academy. And I think they, like, if you separate them, they're obviously fantastic players, but I think if you put them in LCS together, like, they just become that much stronger. It's like FBI Huhi, you know? It's giving icons. It's giving they together forever. It's giving, like, they literally assume that they're gonna be double promoted, which is the cutest thing ever. And I just really, really hope because I was saying this because Jan's contract got extended, and I really hope that is a sign that they're going to be double promoted because I really, really, really want to see them in the LCS.
It's definitely a strong sign for at least John to be promoted. Like, they won't be doing that. They won't be doing that mid-season if that wasn't happening. So really strong sign.
So I'm there, and Hansam is out, so it
exactly.
that Jan is going to move into the LCS, but at the same time, I think it would be loath to let Core JJ go, which is why I'm very kind of a little nervous about the idea of Jan being promoted to LCS, because it could possibly happen without Ayla, and I think that'd be a crime to me. It would be a crime against me.
Okay.
Specifically targeted at Delfi. So anyone listening to this, do not do this.
Real. My heart can't take it.
I wanna jump in there, and I wanna point out the fact that I think personally that TL using an academy approach is a very good sign for the league, because NA to some degree has felt to me, at least in the off season, like a game of follow the leader. And a couple of years ago, when TL started throwing money at everything that moves, you know, and a lot of teams sort of followed. So TL setting an example, I think, is going to be great for North America.
Yeah, we're probably gonna talk about that specific topic at a later podcast. But I'm actually really interested in, like, the future of LCS and where these roster moves are going to take us. Not specifically just rosters, but also there's talks of, like, income changes and staff changes. So we're probably gonna get into that in a future episode. But really excited to see what, like, new things are coming on the horizon for LCS.
If I also may talk about 2 other academy players.
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
I know who that is. I wonder who.
I wonder who, guys. Of course, it's going to be Tenacity and Busio. They are so talented, and if they're not in LCS next year, I will be traveling to LA and doing another protest. It doesn't make sense to me, and I think they both can play on top tier teams. They both proved themselves that they can play on top tier teams. They made it far in Proving Grounds. They literally, like, I mean, Tenacity, even though he didn't play in LCS, he was scrimming with LCS team. He was playing in Korea with them. He was boot camping with them, and he was playing in Champions Queue. Same with Busio. And they both proved that they were good players. I mean, like, Busio was featured on multiple, like, large personality, like Doublelift, Cadril, LS's streams, and they were all like, this kid is cracked. This kid needs to be picked up. If he's not promoted in 100 Thieves, he needs to be promoted in another org. And honestly, I agree with them 1000%. These 2 players need to be in LCS like yesterday, and I just want to see them succeed so badly. They are so, like, they're both native NA talent. They're both incredibly cracked, and they both deserve to be in LCS, and I think they will perform well in LCS. I know a lot of people are very concerned about, like, oh, whenever academy players get hyped and go to LCS, they don't perform well. Well, I don't think that'll be the case. You know why I don't think it'll be the case? I have no evidence to back this up. I just don't think it'll be the case because I really think they're very good players and they will perform very well when placed in an environment that allows them to.
Your evidence is positivity and not being doomer. And honestly, that's all we can ask of right now. Just being positive and looking forward to change, honestly. Bring some life back.
I was saying, as long as we're talking about NA talent, I would like
Coffee?
to, I think everyone knows.
Okay, I was gonna ask you,
There we
actually.
go.
It's time.
I want to shine a spotlight on C9 Copy, who I think is a mid laner that is usually ignored in the conversation of young and upcoming NA talent in conversations with Tenacity and Busio and Jan and so on and so forth. Copy is a guy that In 2021, multiple points, he was the only mid laner to give Jojopun a run for his money. And Jojopun, we all know where he is now. In 2022 spring, he was a runner-up for the Academy Most Valuable Prospect Award. And there are multiple people within, the Academy scene that regard him very highly. And Cloud9 is an org that I became a fan of in 2018, and at that point in time, their identity was to focus on the development of Academy prospects and bring them up and, dig out any talent out of nowhere. This is the org that found Licorice, my favorite player of all time. This is the org that found Blabber. This is the org that, ran with a lot of other similar talents that are now doing very well for themselves in the LCS, including players that are not on Cloud9, like Palafox and Winsome, who had a great run for himself over in Europe. So I think that, Cloud9 should really sort of recapture that identity by promoting Copy. And if they don't, I will be very sad.
Honestly, it's just like the topic again. Just invest in Academy team, invest in proving grounds, like invest in your native NA talent. And that's all I'll say about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I agree. I don't know. I didn't really talk that much about the off-season stuff, as I thought I talked too much. But like, if there's one thing my heart wants in off-season, I bet you can guess. I just want Inspired and JoJo to stay together. That's all I wanted to say.
That means like keep them together and just
Do
like
not
put them next to each
separate.
other.
Do not
Do not separate.
separate. I mean, but because they have such good synergy, like in and out of game. I just feel like it'd be a really criminal. It would be terrible if we only got 1 year of these two together. Like, yeah,
That'd be a crime against
literally a hate crime against me personally.
So if 100 Thieves, TL, and EG are listening to this, y'all know what you have to do for next year. Just saying, putting it out there.
Wait, what do you mean? Yeah.
Okay. So,
We have special
Uh,
shout out.
yes, there's a shout out that we need to give to two.
Yes. To our
Uh,
listeners. It's
Yeah.
amazing. We have listeners.
I can't
We
believe
reached out
people
to
listen
one
to
of our-
us. No shot.
Who reached out to one of our regulars, Maxi, and I'll let Andrea do the shout out.
Yep. So thank you so much to Saner and Aicha, who apparently like our podcast. I think that's really great, guys. Thank you so much for listening to us. Honestly, thank you so much for reaching out too. Like, it's great that we have some feedback from you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate every tiny bit of feedback or anybody saying they enjoyed it. We kind of just started doing this because we thought it would be fun, and we're really glad that people are liking it. Now let's do our personal shout outs. Maya, you want to go first?
I'm sorry, what? I'm a little out of the loop. Who are we?
Just
Your own shout
tell
out.
us something.
Is
Yeah.
yours-
Whatever you want to say.
A player?
This is the ending.
Okay, sure. I want to shout out the New York Giants for the first time in 7 years for not disappointing me, and of course that is happening. The other sports teams are very much doing the job of ruining my mood. In fact, while we were recording this podcast, I watched the New York Yankees get screwed by the Houston Astros, and that is why I am about to throw a chair at the wall the moment we are done recording. So, for anyone that is a T-Sports watcher out there, I was going to say something NSFW.
Oh,
What? Okay, never mind. Okay, Delfi.
Selfie.
Okay. Well, because Maya forgot to, I'll also shout out her Twitter, LCS Miracle, LCSMIRAKKEL. Go follow her. She has banger memes and good stuff that she stole from T Sports Twitter.
Vouch.
I'm Delfino, your host. My Twitter is December OLI. I'd really like to shout out 100 Thieves and all of NA really for doing well. And I'd also like to shout out Gen G, Generation Gaming, hashtag Tiger Nation, hashtag Gen G win, Gen G takes worlds. I'm gonna be at semifinals, so I'll post a picture of myself. If you see me, please walk up to me, take a picture, do anything. I would love to meet
Vouch.
all my Twitter mutuals and my friends, and yeah, I'll be at semis, and I'll also be at Hotline League Live Friday night. So I'll also post a picture of myself there. And if we see each other, please just let me know. I would love to meet new people.
This is an invitation. If you are Canadian and you see Delphi in Atlanta, make sure to boo her because her city stole your semifinal.
What are you talking
Oh my god, what is this?
Boo.
Why?
Boo.
Next.
Okay,
I'm
well,
just kidding, guys.
I mean, do you
Delphi's
think
amazing.
Canadians would go to Atlanta? Just saying. Okay.
Oh.
That is a fair point. That's a fair
Elaine,
point.
go.
Big shout out to everyone that I got to meet on Worlds Weekend, and making it unforgettable. And huge shout out to EG players, especially JoJo and Inspired. I also heard that they all like their cards, so I was pretty touched by that. And my Twitter is FluffJ2, FluffJWI2. So yeah, follow for fan art mostly. I think that's the best thing I do. So yeah.
I'm Numiii. I want to shout out Travis Gafford is continuing on with his live Hotline League tour. Like Delphi said, our next stop is in Atlanta, which is next Friday, October 28th. First, before semifinals or during semifinals. So please come out. It'll be a lot of fun. And I just want to shout out our 3 NA seeds. Despite all the doomer takes online, I'm really proud of our NA seeds, and they've had a really long year. So I just want to shout out North America in general, and I'm really happy to see them take a break and see what happens next for LCS. So that's my shout out.
Oh my god, this
And
randomly reminds me. Sorry, I just wanted to butt in. When we were, in New York, well, I live here, but when we were in Madison Square Garden, and how every time there's a chant, it sort of follows the same blank, 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 and
Yeah.
claps pattern. And
Was
someone
this
in the
about L
crowd
plus ratio?
tried to start. Yes, someone in the crowd tried to start a chant where they were saying L plus ratio, clap, clap, clap,
Wait, that's
and
super funny.
We need this to
it
catch on
didn't
for like
catch on.
EG, for like Vulcan and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It was such a shame. Like whoever did that was really onto something, but no one cared. That I wish they would have done it, and Vulcan would have heard it.
L plus ratio.
okay. Um, yes, I'm Andrea, and don't follow me on Twitter because I never post anything interesting. So there's
I
that.
disagree.
And
Do follow
I
her on
want-
Twitter.
Is at Edgy
And-
Hoon.
Also
I
follow
would like-
Living Evil News.
Thank you, Len. That actually matters. And I want to shout out my friend Chris from Live Evil Pod, he runs the unofficial Live Evil Geniuses fan podcast, and he's really good at running that podcast, and I admire that a lot about him. I also want to shout out my other friends, the people who run the FlyQuest fan podcast, the 3 of them, Sandy, Noxwar, and oh my god, I forgot the other one. Oh, Curly, right? Sorry, Curly. Oh my god. Yeah, I
It
want to
was
shout
Curly's
out.
birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just Curly's birthday. So
Happy late birthday.
yes, so shout out to them because they are super cool and they are super nice. Oh my, they're super nice to me, and I just really love that fans have that passion and that commitment to their teams. It's really cool that they do that. So shout out to them.
Okay, that wraps up another episode of the NAmen Podcast. Not to spoil anything, but we may be having some special guests on in the very near future that are involved in collegiate esports. Or maybe not. Thank you so much for listening, and please send our players love and support our players and our teams, and please tell them that they did a great job, because they really did do a great job, and support
And they do see your
everyone.
messages.
Yes, they do. They read messages. Support everyone who's still in Worlds, and please have a great rest of your day, your night, and go Genji.
Go DRX. Bye.
A greater than EU.
Bye.